also with the information that's being presented. We also want this to be a dialogue. We don't want to sit here and talk at you. We definitely want to include you in this process. So please include your questions in the chat. If you're on an iPad or if you are on a cell phone, you'll probably see three dots in your top right-hand corner. You can click on those three dots to get to the chat function. If you're on a computer, you should see the chat function in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. Other housekeeping notes: if you are not speaking, put yourself on mute so that any background noise from your area won't interact or affect anybody that's speaking. If you have a question with regard to something that's being presented, you can also raise your hand and we can call on you. Like normally we do these in person, but as a result of the new world that we live in, we're moving online, but we still want to kind of maintain some of the interactive function that we would have if we were in person. Eb, did I forget anything from a housekeeping standpoint? All right, so with that, we're going to get into today's topic for this month, and I'm going to hand the mic proverbially back to Ebony so she can pick it up and go from there.
All right, so yeah, business adaptations. I think, you know, we could talk about this for an hour, probably more. There's been so many changes, and I see some realtors in the room. So this is going to be, I think, a really good discussion. First thing that I'll say, just, you know, speaking from a realtor standpoint, because that's what I am, I'm a realtor, but there's also consumers in the room who may be, you know, just looking for, you know, advice on, you know, if I'm thinking about, you know, buying or selling, what's it even going to be like? Do I even want to enter in? So there's going to be lots of stuff here for you. And the first thing I'll say that is, if you're a realtor out there who is trying to sell real estate right now, you know, you've got challenges, right? And so we're going to talk about a few things that we're doing. We didn't write the book on it, but we're definitely trying to pool our resources and be a resource for other folks. So, you know, as far as what we're doing at the Bates International Group, you know, we're trying to do everything and get it on, you know, online and as virtual as possible. And one thing that I'll say is that, you know, though it may feel weird or seem weird or just not the way that we're used to doing things in the past, we have to kind of step aside from that and be willing and ready to leave some of those old protocols in the past. And, you know, if you're a realtor, a lot of the clients that, you know, you'll have, or a lot of clients that we have, sometimes it's their first time. Many times it's their first time. So they're looking to you as the expert to tell them how it's going to go. And if you're direct and you're clear and you're concise about that, it won't seem weird and you won't get any pushback. There was a realtor who beautifully called out last roundtable just about, you know, we were talking about SOPs, and, you know, she said, well, you know, people need to learn how to wear a mask. You know, sometimes, you know, I see people wearing masks and they're not even wearing them correctly. So maybe that's something you should include. And that's something that I included in our, you know, in my dialogue with my clients. And wouldn't you know it, it has come up so many times when we're out. These open houses are crazy. You've got literally hundreds of people outside of open houses now. The market is on fire, and you see people wearing masks every which way except for on their face. They're wearing it around their forehead, their neck, hanging off of their ear, on their wrist, but never on their face and nose. So, you know, anyways, I digress. So listing adaptations, virtual when possible. Try and move away, you know, if you can. You can't always, not every client is going to do that, but we're moving away from the in-person, and we're coming up with tools and ways in which to do that. And so we're using FaceTime and WhatsApp for the initial consultations, and we're finding that it's very effective and people are happy with that. Because it's impersonal, not I don't want to say impersonal, but it's not as it's very, I would say actually opposite. It's more intimate. You know, it's not intimidating. They're in their home, they're comfortable, they feel safe, and they simply, it's a short, you know, and what I do, it's a short meeting. The initial consultation on Facebook or on FaceTime is very, introductory. Walk me around the house. Tell me what it is that you want to do, right? And then we schedule the appointment to sign the paperwork. And for signing the paperwork, we're doing that on Zoom. Because on Zoom, there's functions where you can share your screen. And so we're able to walk through the listing agreement. And we're going to be drilling down next month on listings and how to list your home and if it's the right time for you. So I won't go too far down into the schematics of, the virtual listing package and all that stuff. But, after you sign the paperwork, you're going to want to supplement their education with, send them a video. Go ahead and create a couple of videos of yourself saying what it is that you want to say. You're going to say it a couple of times, but, you just make a short clip that this is how we do business post, I don't want to say post COVID because we're definitely not post, but now that we're starting to open up and we're starting to do business, this is how we do it, right? So get those dialogues straight, make a couple of videos because you're going to want to pepper them with information because you're going to see all kinds of things. And it only takes one breach for you to end up in a bad situation. Okay, so selling adaptation. So this is if you're a buyer's agent and you're out there. I don't know about you. I've gone to some open houses lately, out showing across the board, and it's been kind of nuts, especially, in Maryland. And, Muhammad and Albert can speak to their experience too, what it's been like, and other realtors, because I'm going to speak for about another minute and then open it up for some questions on this topic or comments. But lines are out of the door. In Maryland, you've got a semi-opened, I don't know what you want to call it, protocol in Prince George's County, whereas in Washington, D.C., they just passed an ordinance saying that you're allowed to have up to 50 people in an open house. 50 people in an open house. Now, I know there's a lot of different schools of thought on distancing and how this is supposed to go, but 50 people in an open house seems a little wild when you're only talking about 1,700, 2,100 square feet. Oftentimes when when you're selling in the district where we are. It's so, know what you're doing. And I would say, what we do, this is what I do. Again, we're talking about, our protocols and then we'll open it up to others. Whenever we're showing, we send an instructional email or an instructional text message, basically laying it out that, due to COVID-19, masks must be worn. They don't know they don't know the rules. They don't know that, they don't necessarily have to, wear a mask or whatever, depending on the jurisdiction. But, come up with your protocol and stick to it across the jurisdictions. If you sell multiple ones, don't be shy. You're the expert. They're looking to you to get it right. I also, too, will do whatever I can to, give them space in the house. So I used to, walk them through, show them things, and we do that. But what I'll do is I'll turn the lights on in the house, then I'll welcome them to go into the house and walk around, show themselves around, and then we come out to the front porch and we debrief. And that has multiple functions in itself because we all know that sellers can be interesting, and I've gotten caught before where the walls have ears, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So it doesn't hurt to debrief outside or, debrief, at the curb away from the home. So, like I said, we've only got a half hour. We could talk for hours. What about any questions on that? Do we have any questions on the floor or comments? Marty, I don't know. I think you may have, I don't have an eye on the chat. If there's any questions or comments, let me know or go ahead and shout them out. Otherwise, we'll jump on to the next subject, which is you and Muhammad are going to be talking about some SOPs and some other things that we're doing.
Sure. I have a couple of a really quick question for some of the other realtors in the room. What are some of the things that you're experiencing, or some of the ways that you've changed and modified your practices as you work with buyers and sellers? Hey,
Don't be shy. Come on.
I was
I
about to say
see
the
you. I
same
see
thing.
you, Brooks. Don't make me call on people.
One of the things I'll say is that for us, and one of the Ebony spoke on it here some, but one of the big kind of changes or pivots for us is utilizing Zoom to walk through the listing paperwork and kind of have that consultation. So normally, where we would either have it at the property or maybe even at our office in Capitol Hill. Now, we've taken that online. And as Ebony said before, you're able to utilize Zoom and the shared screen feature, and you can even, mark up on the Zoom using kind of the whiteboard features and whatnot as well. So there's a lot of little tools within the system itself that allows you to have that interaction, and again, walk through the listing paperwork and make real-time edits where necessary also.
Absolutely, and don't feel limited to Zoom. There are a number of other platforms that you can utilize to serve the same function. So you have Google has a platform that you can use, like Google Hangout. You have others like Microsoft for Microsoft users. Office has a platform called Teams. All of them work generally the same way and have different levels of integrated technology associated with it. So Google, of course, is utilizing all of Google's apps, and Microsoft Teams is utilizing their ecosystem. So that all works in tandem. So definitely would recommend checking out some of those other alternatives. Like Zoom's had some security issues in the recent past. They grew up really, really fast. They went from a small company to a huge company overnight with COVID. So some of that is just growing pains. We utilize Zoom as well as the other platforms. Kind of going into some of the other areas that we're going to talk about this evening, looking at some of the things as far as SOPs on our end. So one of the things that we've done is to really spend some time codifying our processes over the last couple of months that we've been uh, kind of pretty much shut in, so to speak, as the market has transformed. So we've pretty much broken out every aspect of our business functionality and really defined what our processes are going to be step by step. So how do we take listings step by step? How do we work with buyers step by step? How do we show property step by step? So it's helped us to really codify our business practices, but it's also given us a very good roadmap for how to communicate and work directly with clients, whether they're on the buy side, sell side, or investor side. So that's something that we would absolutely encourage, is to really start to get a breakdown of what your business looks like. This helps in a couple of ways, not just for the sellers, but it also helps you to see where you're spending your money as a business, and how effective those spends are. One of the things from an SOP standpoint, as an example, in working with buyers, realtors oftentimes put the cart before the horse. You get a buyer, you get a hot lead. The first thing you want to do is get them out and show them a property, get them on the hook, and then worry about doing the paperwork afterwards, or taking advantage of the momentum and the excitement, and you might not necessarily have everything you need to execute and offer. One of the things that COVID has allowed us to do is take a step back and put everything in perspective. So pre-screening clients. So when you get a potential client, someone who's interested, spending a lot of upfront time working with that person. One, getting their pre-qualification done first, going through the educational process of working with that client. So ensuring that they understand what the buying process looks like from beginning to end, kind of almost like an onboarding for a new client. That's one of the things that we've incorporated into our SOPs is an onboarding for our clients. So that's explaining the title process, introducing them if they don't have a lender, is introducing to a network of lenders if they need an attorney, whatever the situation may be, having that conversation up front, getting their pre-qualification, everything from, but also spending time helping them to understand the market as it exists. Like DC, Maryland, and Virginia is a highly, highly aggressive market right now. Some places have experienced a slump. DC, it's not the case. This month, I've put in probably about a dozen offers this month on behalf of clients, and really took a beating in a lot of ways. One of my offers that I put in was competing against 14 other offers. So the demand is extremely high. So spending the time to educate your clients, not just about the process, but also about the market and what can be expected in the marketplace, will save us a lot of time on the back end by spending that time on the front end. But it also helps to set expectations for clients. Yes, especially with dealing with buyers. Buyers tend to have an unrealistic set of expectations. And on the buy side, the term that was introduced to me when I first got into real estate, and the way it was positioned with me was, well, I don't want to say this, but keep this in the back of your mind. Buyers are liars. And it's like, oh, I can't say anybody is a liar. Like that's kind of cruel, but and you will get a
I
lot
can't
of
believe
time.
you said it.
You'll get a lot of time wasted, a lot of effort wasted not spending this time up front. But COVID gives us a great opportunity to really spend that time up front so that everyone is on the same sheet of music and we can work effectively and proactively. Another thing that COVID has brought about on the listing side is an increased effort in the area of prospecting. Um, because the demand right now is so high, there's so many buyers, not enough real estate on the market. So really doing targeted prospecting around areas where there's high demand, like we're doing circular prospecting around our current listings, and we're also doing neighborhood and regional area prospecting, zip code prospecting around places where our clients are interested, because we have ready, willing, and able buyers. So it doesn't matter, what dialer service you're using, if you're using RedX or Volt or whatever, or if you're mining for sources in places like Remine, or you're paying for leads. Now really is the time to be spending a lot of time, a couple of hours a day, prospecting on the phone, reaching out through email, really working within your sphere of influence to generate the leads necessary. A lot of folks are going to be waiting for business to come their way. The winners coming out of this market are the ones that are putting in the time to create opportunities and generate those listings, because the demand is absolutely, without a doubt, there. So if you haven't spent any time focusing on your prospecting strategy, now is the time to really pay close attention to your prospecting strategy and put a lot of effort into it. It will bear fruit. Because folks that have been locked in a house are figuring out a couple of things. One, they either love their house, they hate their house, or they like it, but it's not meeting their needs because they've been stuck in the house 24/7 with kids driving crazy, not enough space, no place to put grandma. Like all these things are, really, really at front of mind. So if you have a person who what the market is, that property is selling, and you come to a potential prospect for a listing to say like, hey, this place in your neighborhood sold for X amount of dollars, is similar to yours, that triggers in their mind like, I think my house can sell for that. Hey, and gets them down the mode of thinking about, what the deficiencies are in their place as far as their needs are concerned. It creates a great opportunity to potentially pick up a client. And as you know, in this business, you stay in business with listings. So from there, I would like to really touch on the fact that we are in a digital space. And since, Marty handles a lot of our digital work here, I'm going to kind of hand off to Marty to talk about some of the things that really need to be doing from a marketing standpoint, as well as from a prospect and research standpoint when it comes to the digital space. Marty?
We have we did get a question that came into the chat, but let me touch real quick on just some of the changes or the shifts that we've made as it relates to digital. We really started prior to COVID with a lot of our shifting, with looking to expand more through social media, using videos. One of the elements that we began using more of as of now is IGTV, and looking to use that as well as YouTube to expand our brand and reinforce our brand to a wider audience. So we have made a decision to create a content calendar and then record content every week that we can post to IGTV as well as YouTube, again, to expand our brand, our reach, and our network. So that's one element. Again, there are other tools that you can use, outside of IGTV or YouTube. BombBomb, a lot of people use BombBomb specific videos specifically to interact with their clients. It's a platform where you can do record videos, whether it's a personal message or even if it's, say, a tip that you want to give out. You can use it in numerous ways, but you can load those videos via email and send those personally to a large network or one-on-one to your clients as well.
One of the things I want to add to what Marty is saying is most of these platforms are free, and so take advantage of the fact that they're free and you can create your own content. Like Ryan right now, I'm going to call out Ryan as he's typing away, but Ryan has a great background for real estate. He's in a white shirt. He can literally record something right now. Great background, by the way. He can record something on his phone or, on his laptop or iPad, 90 seconds or less, and then post it to Instagram. Instagram automatically feeds to Facebook. If you set it properly, you can put it on Twitter, and you can create your own ecosystem of content and information to rope people in. I say keep it to 90 seconds or less because folks have short attention spans. Regular Instagram only lets you post 60 seconds. IGTV, you can post it as long as you want, but that's a more involved process. You can also do the same thing if you're in an Apple ecosystem using iMovie. So you can literally create your own video. You can add music. You can do all of this on your phone through the Apple app called iMovie. It comes with your iPhone. It's also on your Mac. It's also everything that's Apple based. You can create content on iMovie. Again, it's all free. You can go and get license. You can use license images. You can go to free iPhotos, freeiPhoto.com, like iStockPhoto, something like that, and get free images. You can get also free video that you can splice in. And again, Apple makes it super easy to do this on your own, but these are ways to create content and keep people engaged. Back to you, Marty.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're spot on. And again, outside, another free resource that we use as well to create content is the app Canva. So we do a lot of our flyers that we make and create, and as well as IG posts on Canva. It's very user friendly and intuitive, and again, you can create content in no time using that particular app. The last thing I'll say is one of the elements that we were one of the things that we did as we were, shifting and adapting our business was creating our Google My Business page. Now, this gives you an opportunity to expand your business on Google, on the internet. So when individuals search various keywords, if they're searching for realtor in Capitol Hill, if they're searching real estate services in Northwest DC, Logan Circle, you name it. What you can do by creating your Google My Business page is provide content on that page. You can post in the same manner or similar manner that you would do on your social media platforms. You can also have reviews. Your clients post reviews there. And this continues just to build up your profile on Google. And as Google sees what you're doing and sees how you're utilizing the Google My Business platform, the algorithms will take heed to that. And again, it can expand your presence online. So again, just another way and another free resource that's there for you. There's a lot more depth that you can go into in each one of these segments, especially with Google My Business. It's probably a Zoom class all itself. But these are just a couple of elements and just a couple of tips just to kind of share how we've just kind of adapted and pivoted, really over the past 6 to 8 months.
The other piece I wanted to add to what Marty was saying, as well as Ebony, is that your marketing strategy is your communication strategy. So right now, given that you can't get in front of people face to face, look at your marketing as a way to have a communication and build a dialogue and build a relationship with your audience. So whether you're utilizing YouTube, whether you're utilizing various aspects of social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, think about it from the perspective of, how do I engage? How do I have a conversation? How do I have people relate to me as their expert or reliable source of both information and business opportunity when that time so presents itself through this strategy? So a lot of people think, oh, well, marketing is communicating. How do you communicate with your audience so that when it's time for them to buy, sell, or refer, you're the person that they look to for that transaction, and not just one transaction, but a series of transactions and relationships. We got a couple.
Let me jump in real quick and just, sorry to Muhammad, but I just wanted to acknowledge a question that we had on the floor. It's been on the floor for a minute.
That's what I was about to jump into.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a beautiful segue because you actually took my answer. So I want to call out how proud we are, the fact that we've got literally people across the globe on this call. So the question was, when you don't have internet, when you are working with a population that isn't necessarily on the internet or doesn't use these capabilities or have the ability to even use it, what do you do? And I would say it all goes back to communication. It goes back to you creating those SOPs based on what your environment is and thinking through it. Literally go through the logistics. How are you going to do it? How are you going to talk to someone? Are you going to have to purchase? And that's one thing I left out of my listing presentation, is that you gotta invest in PPE, things that are going to keep you safe. And sometimes that means buying extra masks to outfit people who just aren't doing it. So I would say communication, make sure you have your SOPs down, so that you can deliver them somehow, so that they know what it is and how it's going to go, and you make it make sense. And once it makes sense to you, you deliver it with confidence and let them know that this has already been thought out and this is how it goes and this is how you do business.
Here's the other piece. Yeah, I want to add in a specific example for Patrick, because Patrick is in Ghana. Across a number of countries in Africa, Asia, and the like, Individuals might not have as much internet access, but everybody has mobile phones. Everybody has cell phones. And what we've learned throughout our travels is WhatsApp is huge. Everybody communicates in WhatsApp, especially on the African continent. That's where everything takes place business-wise. So utilize WhatsApp for your marketing and for your communication strategy. Create your videos on your phone. You can utilize the software that's already on your phone for free to record your videos and to record your content, and then push your content through WhatsApp through your network. So build a network on WhatsApp and start sending out your content on WhatsApp, and have the individuals within your sphere of influence share your content with other people on WhatsApp, so that you have the same community that you would have in Facebook, or the same community that you would have via the internet, like through Google AdWords and things like that. You would have that on WhatsApp. So make WhatsApp your communication hub and marketing hub for your business. The other thing is you're looking at you're asking about the economy in areas where it's slow. The one thing about real estate is everybody needs a place to live. So when you build out your communication strategy, you're going to start being looked upon as an expert in this field, because you're a content creator and a content provider. So business is going to come to you as a result, because again, everyone needs some place to live, whether it's a slow economy or a fast economy. You may do more business in a fast economy, but there are realtors that do tremendous business in a slow economy because of how they structure their business and how they approach it. So you want to position yourself as an information source and a content source in that market, so that people come to you. And you may have to adjust your model, your business model, to do more rentals, to do more leases. You might want to take on some commercial activity as opposed to just buying and selling on a residential side, in order to diversify your own business portfolio. But utilize WhatsApp as your platform, and I think you'll do well.
If anybody has any last word to add, what I can say is the last word for the realtors that are in the room: videos. You got to do it, whether you like it or not. Get in front of the camera, get comfortable, get stupid. Who cares? Your clients love you, and they'll click if they see your face and it's a video. They're going to want to see what you have to say, believe it or not. So create the videos. And the other thing is, make it accessible, and that's our MO. So, and we're trying to make this accessible to everybody, so we won't keep you. If anybody doesn't have any, if no one has any last words, then we'll say thank you for everybody who joined us. It's huge, and it really means a lot to us that you join us. So come back next month, and thank you for joining us tonight. All right.